hard work and determination of our area athletes. This is The Score on WQAD News 8.
Good evening and welcome to The Score Sunday. More state championships have been won this past week, and many other teams earned their spot in their upcoming state tournaments. So we have plenty to talk about tonight. Allman sophomore Nicholas Patrick defending his 1A state tennis title, winning in 3 sets. To accomplish the feat, we'll talk with Nicholas about his run at state and what is next for him. Rock Island baseball may be one of the hottest teams in the state. The Rocks have won 21 straight games and just won a regional championship. They'll be joining us tonight. Our FCA Story of the Week features a Geneseo multi-sport athlete that has enjoyed the process of playing 3 sports for the Maple Leafs. And we'll find out who is this week's Score Standout nominees and how you can vote for your favorite. But we start tonight with 2-time Class 1A state champion from Allman, Nicholas Patrick, joining us. And first of all, Nicholas, congratulations on winning the Class 1A state championship. I asked you when you got here, I'm going to ask you again, has it kind of set in what you've been able to do 2 years in a row now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just this year and last year have both been an absolute blessing, and just being able to compete and find great success on the tennis court has been awesome. And just really been taking it one step at a time and looking back and noticing that all the hard work's paying off. It's really been amazing to see.
What was the difference from last year to this year?
Well, this year a little more expectations, I think, for myself, you know, coming off a state title last year. But just recognizing that everybody's a good player, 1 point at a time, 1 game at a time, just not looking ahead, not taking anybody for granted, and just trusting my training. And I think I did that, and I knew that there was definitely a target on my back per se, but went out there and had a good time and came out with the win.
Do you enjoy that kind of atmosphere, especially yesterday? I mean, everybody's kind of expecting everything from you. There's people rooting against you. There's some rooting for you. Do you like that kind of atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the process, and I know there's going to be people that are cheering for me, against me. You know, that's what happens when you get to the top levels of the game. But just really getting out there and enjoying it and focusing only on what I can control, my attitude, my effort, and just playing, like I said, 1 point at a time, and just going out there and doing everything to the best of my abilities, and just really enjoying it and recognizing that I'm very lucky to be able to train and play in the sport that I love and, you know, compete at a high level.
Well, watching you play yesterday, first set was great. Second set, things didn't go so well. Third set was kind of back and forth a little bit before you kind of recovered and got things done. How do you recover when you're out there by yourself, just a solo sport? How do you recover mentally and kind of what do you tell yourself?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned yesterday, the best players are always going to recover. They're always going to make adjustments, and unsurprisingly, he did. So came out there, felt great, had the momentum early. He made some adjustments, made some smart changes to his strategy. So I knew in the third set, thankfully, I had a 10-minute break, and I had some great coaching from my dad and John Feehan and Brady Anderson and some guys in the area that I train with and that have become mentors to me. So they told me just, some things technicality-wise and things that I can just use strategically to, improve my game and just really mentally a lot of things too. Just focusing 1 point at a time, not worrying about the crowd, not worrying about the extra stuff. Just focus on my court, focus on what I can control.
When you got match point and you're at state champ again, relief, emotionally, what's going through your mind?
There was a lot going on. There was a lot going on. I mean, the emotions were high, tensions were high, but it was just, the very first thing was just gratitude, being very grateful that I did pull it out against a great player and a great friend in Ben Graft. But yeah, it was just really honored to be able to represent Allman, represent my dad, and represent everybody that was there to support me.
So when did you start tennis?
I started tennis when I was very, very young, so pretty much as long as I've known it. But it wasn't always, the end-all, be-all. It's always been something that I've kind of grown to love. Played baseball, played basketball a little bit when I was younger. But just, started to really focus on it, and I found a love for the game that I think my dad and some other people in the areas that have helped me grow have had. So it's been great.
At what age did you realize, hey, I'm kind of good at this sport?
I think probably 10, 11, 12 is when I really started I'm starting to find some success, but it wasn't really the success. It was just kind of enjoying the just the atmosphere of the tennis, just having that pride of if I do win a match, it's on me. If I lose a match, what can I do to be better and better myself? I mean, it's taught me many lessons along the way, both good and bad, but it's taught me resilience and how to deal with adversity, so I'm very grateful.
So when did you start playing some big tournaments and start, I guess, kind of working your way through the ranks? Because I think you're one of the top players, if not the top player in the state of Illinois, right?
Yeah. So I've been very lucky to train nationally and throughout the sections and throughout the nation. I'd say when I was 12, I believe, for my birthday, I got to travel to Tucson, Arizona and play my first national tournament, won a round. And it was just a very eye-opening experience, seeing how many great players there are all throughout the country. And ever since then, I've just taken it one step at a time, and I've been very lucky to be able to travel and compete.
So do you look at national rankings? Do they mean much to you? And I mean, do you play in a lot of national tournaments now?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a good reference point. I don't think it's everything. And as I mentioned, I mean, everybody's a great player, whether they're ranked very highly or not.
Sure.
So nobody can be taken for granted. So when I do see those national rankings, you know, it's a good standing point, but it's not everything. But yeah, I have been very blessed to play some national tournaments and even some international tournaments down in Florida, and have found some great success.
When you play at that level, and then you play at the high school level, how different are they?
Oh, well, I mean, there's differences in terms of, you know, just the amount of people that play nationally. These kids, most of the time, are like homeschooled. There's not like, so they're really just, it's tennis, tennis, tennis. Versus high school, you know, they might play other sports. They might, you know, have studies to focus on. So it's a little bit, you know, sometimes lower level throughout. But then once you get to the conference, sectional, state finals, you know, I mean, you play great players. So like I said, everybody's good. Everybody can play. Nobody can be taken for granted, and can just really have to go out there and play my best tennis.
So what's next for you as far as schedule-wise? What kind of tournaments, what's coming up for you?
Oh, well, I believe I get to go down to Cary, North Carolina, and potentially Florida throughout the summer and train just like I did last summer, physically and mentally, and hopefully come back here next year just like this. But I'm very excited for some big national tournaments, the national clay courts, national hard courts. So some big tournaments coming up, and I'm really looking forward.
Is professional down the road for you at some point? Are you looking at that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an end goal, but it's something that I work hard every day to achieve. But it's tough because it's obviously so far in the future, hopefully. But just one step at a time. I hope to play college tennis one day. That's definitely a dream of mine, to play high quality college tennis just at a school that I can represent, just like I represent Alleman.
Do you have one in particular you want to play at? I mean, everybody has that dream college. Do you have one?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a Notre Dame fan ever
Okay.
since I was a young kid, but we'll see. You know, it's still a little bit of time until then, but I've always been a huge Notre Dame fan. So hopefully that's the goal. That's always been a goal for me. But it's just, like I said, there's plenty of time from now until then I have to choose, but just want to represent the school that I love then.
Awesome. Nicholas, congratulations on winning the state championship.
Thank you very much.
Now, Nicholas here wasn't the only tennis player winning state titles. It was a big day for the ladies on the courts in Iowa. In 2A, Bettendorf's Andrea Perukhin had a great semifinal battle. The Bulldogs stand out, outlasting Valley's Claire Gu to win a 3-hour and 2-minute semifinal, 7-5, 3-6, and 6-4. Then in the state title match, it was on Perukhin to win match point. The strong serve would not be returned. And that will do it. Perukhin, a 2A singles state champion.
Okay, it's weird, like I didn't feel, it's weird to say I didn't feel anything, but I was just so like focused on the point. Like relief and appreciation because they've helped me so much and I'm so thankful for them. And yeah, it's my last season too since I'm a senior, so I'm gonna be sad to see them leave.
Congrats to Andrea, also in 1A. Assumption's doubles team of Ella DiUlio and Helen Sanz goes from unseeded to winning the 1A state doubles championship. Congrats to all of the tennis players. Time for our first break. Up next, Red Hot Rocks. Rock Island Baseball wins their first regional title in 13 years. We talk with the Rocks after the break.